Welcome back to another episode of The Low Finer Things. I am 1/3 of your podcast, or The Low Finer Things, Crookedfoot. Joined with me, my amazing colleagues, Whitley360 and Cal Kappa. How you guys doing today?
So good, buddy. So good. Whitley, how are you?
Obviously happy to be here.
She brought it back. She brought it back. I'm for it. What's new and exciting since the last one? Anything wild happened for anybody? I know Cal said he's dog sitting.
I
reformatted my D drive by accident.
You can reformat my D drive.
Fuck, I wish. It would be way more satisfying than losing years of music in one stupid move.
No doubt, bro. I've had that happen before where I've hit the delete button on something I didn't mean to delete, and it's not you just get that sick feeling in your stomach. But I always take it as an opportunity to start fresh as well.
Right?
Just run with that.
Dude, I saved so much space on my computer. I trimmed the fat.
Whitley, anything new and exciting with you?
Not really new and exciting with me, but I wanted to ask your guys' thoughts on, I'm sure you noticed the new SoundCloud logo that's blue.
Oh,
What's that?
Why is it blue? I don't understand.
It honestly, it makes no sense. It was orange to begin with. They should have stuck with orange. It threw me for a loop when they first changed it to black and white, and now for it to be like blue, and I was gonna say blue and gray, but it's like a dark blue and a very light blue, and it just, to me, I'm like, this makes no sense.
Hold up.
Like, what was the reasoning for it? I'm just curious from like a marketing or like a business standpoint.
I got you. Are you guys ready?
Yeah, what do you got?
I googled, why is SoundCloud blue?
And?
So why the change? SoundCloud has temporarily changed the logo to promote Billie Eilish's new album entitled Hit Me Hard and Soft.
Fuck off.
Oh my goodness.
Get lost. Fuck out. Don't get me wrong. I like Billie Eilish enough to listen to the album without SoundCloud telling me that they're helping to promote it. Like, fuck off.
How much did that cost?
She's a bad guy.
More than Billie Eilish is gonna make off Spotify royalties.
But
No kidding.
Like, honestly.
Dude, so how big do I have to get them to turn it like poo brown for a swamp mix?
Bigger than Billie Eilish, apparently.
I can do this.
We can make it happen.
All right. Everybody vote Kappa.
Everybody vote Kappa. But speaking of making it happen, like, how do you make it big, I guess, is a good segue into my idea for a topic tonight, which is kind of like the business side of like getting big with lo-fi, like leaving the underground.
I love the idea when you pitched it in the group chat, because it's something that we've all kind of discussed here and there, and we've had little conversations surrounding it throughout the podcast. But when you pitched it, I was like, oh, let me get in my bag here, because
no doubt
everybody knows I hate Spotify.
I love this already.
Fucking vultures.
Well, not.
They really are, though.
Do you think
there's fucking scumbugs?
Do you think as an independent artist that you can make it that big, or do you think to make it Billie Eilish big that you need to be with a label?
I would honestly say that you can definitely make it that big. Look at somebody like El Dre, for example.
True.
He is somebody that I would say is big, and not just in
100%.
the capacity of like a lo-fi artist that has 40,000 followers and 100,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. We're talking somebody who has grown their fan base into the millions, has branched off into, when it was popping, like the crypto world. He had the NFTs that were available. There's been sample packs, drum packs, and I think as a lo-fi artist, as much as I hate to say it, it doesn't have to be amazing and mind-blowing, but you do have to pair content with your releases in order for them to reach even further.
You are not wrong with that.
So it is possible. Sorry to cut you off, but it is possible. And then you look at somebody like Chris Ponsalon as well, who is also like a colleague of Eldre's. At the time, not so much anymore, but was making lo-fi as well. Entirely possible. And same thing, sample packs, drum packs, releases on Spotify, and the whole like of it. But also the content that he was putting out at the time was amazing. Like, he transitioned from being an artist himself to towards the end of, I don't want to say towards the end of his music career, because he still does create, but he also does a podcast now. Most of his content was actually geared towards filming him taking care of his grandmother. He was her primary caregiver. Like, that was his job. So, and it was really cool to see. And I feel also he gained a lot of fans and people that support him through doing that, because there are a lot of people out there that are caregivers, and they see, oh, this person's just like me, and then they see it, and then but they also make music, so I'm gonna check out his music. One hand washes the other, and things start to snowball.
You're really not wrong with any of that. You watch even dudes like that Jay Cactus guy, like, he same thing now. Music on the streaming services. He does YouTube videos. He does drum packs, all those kind of things. You gotta assume that, like, he's doing pretty well for himself, at least, you know, pretty decent.
Where's the bar, though? Like, where do we set the bar for, like, doing well for themselves? Are we talking, like, millionaires? Or are we just talking, like, having your bills paid every month, not having a worry, having a few extra bucks in the bank? Like, what's the basis for what we would consider making it within this realm of lo-fi music?
No 9 to 5.
I feel like that's going to vary from person to person. Success is in the eye of the beholder.
Oh, 100%.
I agree. I always said that I would much rather, I wouldn't want to be rich and famous. I would like to be well-known and wealthy.
I just want to work for myself and not have to be paying someone else's bills. I want to pay my own bills through my own stuff. That's making it to me.
That is the dream. And I think that's why I've recently kind of started to revamp and switch how I'm releasing my music. I'm not going back to Spotify, but there's some things in the works that you'll start to see unrolled on my channels fairly soon.
Me giving you that eye glance. I got that Bandcamp email. What's going on?
So did I. Aye.
If you want to talk about it here. Curious.
Absolutely, I would love to. I mean, it's not a shameless plug if somebody asks you about it, right?
I'm genuinely curious as well, honestly, man.
So for those the email said you're canceling your Bandcamp subscription service. What?
Yeah. So Spotify is no more. And I realized that the way that I was trying to present my music and release my music, that's not to say that it might not come back in the future. We might roll it out towards like maybe on a Patreon or something of that nature. But for right now, I want to go back to not just releasing my music to a select few people every week or every couple weeks. I love the idea of only having a section of my music available for that niche group of people. But right now, and Whitley, I've discussed this with you, I've discussed this with Dead Spider, shout outs to him, just the way that I want my music to be presented. I want it to mean something. I want people to see that there's value in the art again. So like the email that you got, like, yes, I canceled the subscription, but you probably also got one today as well, letting people know that there's like a one-of-one tape that has been put up on my Bandcamp now.
Oh, I saw the left foot, right foot. I saw that.
Yeah. That was so nice. I liked that a lot.
And that's just a one-of-one tape. That's just a one-of-one tape that nobody else will have. The beats are not, I think one of them is available online or will be available online, but the rest of the beats are either beats that I've made on stream, they're beats that I've made on the Koala app that I've transferred through the SP and onto the tape. Ooh. They're beats that only one person will have. I won't even have the stems for them or anything like that. I never bounced them in that capacity.
Oh, no
So
way.
it's going back to the way that I wanted to release my music. And like I said, Whitley, you and I have discussed this at length. I want to do a bunch of one tapes. I want to do more beat tapes. And so putting the subscription service on hold for the time being is going to allow me to focus on putting those things in motion and making sure that it's available to all the people that I can possibly reach.
No, I think that's a really cool idea, is like additional merch even, but does that mean you're not going to have like any like publicly released stuff that where like anybody could like purchase it off your Bandcamp, like any like upcoming things like that? Or is it just all going to be these underground tapes?
No, I'll be going back to that as well. So the tapes in the future, same thing though. I might do a 101, and shout out to Bailey P for this one, because I was cruising through their Bandcamp.
So good.
Amazing.
Right? Told you.
Guns 1 and 2 are absolutely crazy. Those are phenomenal projects. And seeing how Bailey is releasing the music is synonymous with what we spoke about and how I want to release my music. I'm not gonna go into doing like VHS tapes, which is fucking crazy, by the way. Like, shout out to Bailey for having a VHS tape. I won't go that far.
That's wild, dude.
But I've got the tapes. I've had the tapes for months, and I've never really started to do it until a couple weeks ago, when I started putting the beats on tape after I was done on the SP. So I'm gonna do a lot more publicly available music. It's not just gonna be tapes. It will be primarily public releases, but there's gonna be cool little tapes like this one, like left foot, right foot, like side A is left foot, side B is right foot, and it's a 1 of 1. But then to also go with that, there's gonna be projects that I put out on the Bandcamp. They won't be available on streaming services like Apple or Spotify, because I still don't rock with Apple or Spotify. But then I'm also going to do like the lo-fi mom and dad hoodies that I've been running with. I want to do custom, like I'm just gonna put it up as like a custom lo-fi hoodie. So if you want to be lo-fi Whitley, you can get a hoodie that says that. If you want to be lo-fi
lo-fi Kappa,
lo-fi Pitbull, like you can be it, and we'll get those done for you, and they'll be done on high quality hoodies in the best fashionable way possible. And just all these things.
But can I cut in really quick?
Yes,
When
please.
can I buy a Crooked Foot? I wanted to say Crooked Foot, or like have the CF, like Crooked Foot toque, or if you're American tuning in, a beanie or a knit hat. I want a Crooked Foot toque.
Beanie. Gross.
I can honestly,
please, I would love that.
Because it's print on demand, I can probably get something set up for you. I don't know if it would have the Crooked Foot logo or the CF or whatever, but I'm sure I can probably make something happen at some point.
That's merch I want. This is Canada, 8 months of the year, we're winter. I love my toque.
It's true.
I want some toque merch. Anyway, carry on. Sorry. I'm excited.
That's pretty much it. I just want my art to be seen as exactly that. I've never viewed myself as just a beat maker. I've always wanted to find ways that I can incorporate my hobbies and what I love to do. And right now those two things are making beats and playing Call of Duty. Some of you guys might not know this, but I do play. I'm not prime scum
okay, shameless
like
plug
or anything, but like
this boy don't mess around.
That's what I do when I'm not making beats, is like I've floated around a few different discords and play in a couple of different leagues, and it's just like rec league shit. But since my ankle injury, I can't play ball anymore. I can't play hockey. Like I can't do those things. So I needed something to drive that competitive nature. So in some of my upcoming videos, sick day type beat, for example, that video is just gonna be like some wild ass. I've already put it out in the Discord with like my homies and stuff, but like I want their Call of Duty clips where they're like pulling off something crazy, or it's just a nasty play, and we're gonna put that over top of the beat and we'll put that online. Like these are two things that I love. I love watching esports, I love hockey, and I love making beats. So I'm gonna try and find a way to incorporate that into what I'm doing moving forward.
I love it.
I also second the toques.
Thank you.
I'll try.
So what about you, Cal? We kind of dove on the future of like what Mr. Crookedfoot's up to. I guess for you, how do you measure your success, or like what are you striving for?
I want to be able to work with like more artists and like hip hop producers and like, or hip hop artists, honestly. I want to do some work with people doing vocals and like see what kind of things I can find from that.
Oh man,
Success to me is still no 9 to 5.
I've told you about my
day to time.
My coworker. I will listen to your music while I'm driving him home, and he freestyles over it. And I've been so wanting to record it, but I'm driving, and I like.
That's the kind of stuff I want to do down.
So like, good. He loves your music, man.
Because like fucking film it.
I want to work as do production for more people, and like beats are just so fun. They're so enjoyable. It gets all of my stress out.
What steps are you taking then to kind of work towards that success? Like, you want to work with more artists? Do you think, like, question for both of you, I'll start with Cal since we're digging into Cal right now. Working with a label, do you feel like that would give you an opportunity to work with more artists? Or like, have you worked with a label and did that give you like an opportunity to like expand your horizon of like collaborations, I guess?
Nothing in the collaborations way, like Discords for like, I've done a few releases with labels, and like the only thing that does for me honestly is just bump numbers up. But like their Discords a lot of the time are a really great way to find musical collaborations. Honestly, I'm not 100% sure where to go find artists that fucking rap that like, or whatever, that I can jive with. That's the hardest part for me, is like, I'm bad at meeting people.
Yeah, you gotta check out your local music scene, man. There's so many great local talents.
No.
No?
My local music scene is...
Okay. Cal, come to Regina, come to Saskatchewan. We have so many great artists here.
Let me tell you about the biggest rap artist around here. He's this obnoxious, douchey white guy with braces, cornrows. He's just so full of himself. Yeah.
I feel like that describes a lot of people.
That's because I'm trying to keep it very,
don't dox
vague.
this guy. Don't dox this guy.
Oh, I'm straight up. Everyone can figure out where I live. It ain't hard. You guys can come over. We'll have some tea. Maybe talk about the sky and how pretty it is out here.
How did you like? What was it like working with? Like, how did you decide that you wanted to work with a label? Like, how did you approach that process?
Well, they're all out there with, like, you can go to most Instagram for little lo-fi labels. You go search little lo-fi or label, and you'll see a ton of them. And I just started shooting emails with demos out. Because, like, I'm one of those people that's like, why not take the chance? And I wanted to expand my audience and get, honestly, at that point when I was doing it, I was just looking to see how many monthly listeners I could get without doing anything other than pitching it to a label. I was trying to kind of experiment around. I'll like release with labels now once in a while, but like I don't do a lot of Spotify releases anymore. I'm much more into the Bandcamp as of late. Somebody's got my arm bent.
And what about you?
I've been listening.
What about you, Crookedfoot? Have you worked with any labels before? You have a bit more history than Cal, I feel like, with making beats.
Oh, way more.
So
yeah, I've worked with...
Let's get into it. Tell us a story.
Primarily, I mean, there's no story, but the first one I think was Chill Space. I think everybody and their fucking dog at this point has worked with Chill Space.
Oh yes, I have a few times.
And it was just a fire. They were looking, and I fired off an email with Snowfalls in Saskatchewan. I was like, hey, I got an email or an EP here. It's ready to go. Like, I have it queued up for release first week of January. And they emailed me back like an hour later and were like, we want to put this out. Can you push it back to February? I was like, all right, cool. Here's my thing with like a lot of like the lo-fi labels is their business practices and their splits are fucking terrible, and they do the same thing a lot of lo-fi artists do, and they just pay for botted plays. Not saying all of them do, but I know a lot of them do as well. So
I'll tell you. I'll give you a list one day.
It's there, and you can tell right away when you all of a sudden You open up and you have 6,000 plays from Uganda, and you've never had music played there before. So the practices are kind of shitty. Some of them too were kind of like, oh, sign this. I'm like, well, what's the split? And they'll take like 60%, they'll give you 40, or they'll give you 60 and they'll take 40. Some of them are 70-30, some are 50-50.
What would you,
I'm just like, man,
what would you
guys aren't
generally
really
say would be
doing
a
enough for
fair,
me.
like what would you say would generally be fair for like splitting the royalties?
It depends on the label, I guess. Like,
Or what's
if the label
average?
I think the best split I ever came across was with the Retune project, and I believe they gave me 70% and they took 30. So
That's completely fair.
that's a fair, but also they were just kind of starting out. They were saying that they were redefining how music is released and shared with artists, and they held up to that. Like, I got my 70%, they got 30. But again, there were some numbers that didn't really jive. Not with them, with another one specifically. And to this day, like, I still haven't seen a royalty payout from them. And that kind of put a sour taste in my mouth. I think Cal probably has far more experience with releasing with like boutique labels and labels, so I'll let him expand on it.
Oh my god, I can tell you that the last couple I've done with have this tendency to pitch to lovely bot lists. And you'll look at your streams and you're like, wow, I just got 10,000 streams. But realistically, there was about 75.
Okay, hold up. Can I play devil's advocate for a quick second?
Yeah.
Do you think
please.
that they are aware that they are submitting to botted playlists, or do you think that they're a new label, they found Ko-fi or daily submissions, whatever the hell it's called, and they just think that they're submitting to a playlist, they're paying their $20, and all of a sudden they're getting a massive, like, do you think they're ignorant to the fact that it's botted plays, or do you think that they're fully aware and they're just trying to juice their pockets so that their return is as much as possible?
Honestly, probably think it's like 60% unknowing, 40% just bumping numbers. Because you look better, more people will release with you if your customers' label or your customers' numbers are at 20,000 streams in 2 weeks. Well, yeah, everyone and their dog's gonna want to pitch to you. It's almost like a grab there. So like there are some people doing the work properly and unknowingly not realizing they're getting botted, but like more and more I really hope it gets brought to their attention, because it's just, in my opinion, it's a shady practice. Like it's dishonest. I'm way too honest with things, so it's like for me I'm like it makes me feel shitty.
I also had received at one point, somebody kind of sent me a spreadsheet that they got from one of the labels, not gonna say who, but they sent me the flow sheet of how it works down. So on a private playlist, there's 1,500 beats on this playlist. 200 beats are picked randomly each day from the private playlist, blank amount of tracks from you, this public beats playlist, and then these beats are included in the lo-fi hip-hop playlist for an indefinite period. 25% goes to the beat maker. 75% of the revenues made from the Spotify playlist go back to the label. And so the other one was like, do they keep everything, or is it on almost all the streams or whatever? And they're like, no, this split only counts from the Spotify playlist. And it's just like, bro, so that's kind of dodgy in itself right there. Like, but neither here nor there at this point. Like, this is why I kind of stopped doing the Spotify thing, because I realized it's just solely like a numbers game. That's all it is to people.
One of my personal favorite labels is Spiritation Music. I've released with them a few times, and I've talked to the guy that owns it, and he doesn't do a lot of playlist pitching. He actually spends more of his money on like Facebook and Instagram ads, and he says that he's finding that he gets more live audience, not robot audience, like people that come back. And he's been finding, it takes a little bit longer, but over the last, I think he said like year or so, it's really shown a growth for him, and it's really worked out. And like that's a label that I'm like, everybody should, you know, up to them. Give them a release if you want to hear, or wow, English. Give them a song if you want to release with somebody. Like they deserve it.
That's a whole other world too, is not releasing, but ads and targeted ads and hitting that and using like the Facebook pixel to target, retarget, find and generate leads. That's a whole different ball game right there. I've tried to do it, tried to invest in it, and it's actually crazy the amount of like work that goes into making a good ad that people are going to click on either the first time or the 10th time, but then continuing to retarget those people. Like that's a wild ass game.
Man, can I just say, like, full disclosure, I've discovered so much great music through those targeted ads on Instagram. Like, you have no idea.
Some of them are good. Some of them
They're
are good.
so smart.
They're great. Like, those algorithms, they know me.
Is this the trajectory that we're heading towards when it comes to music?
Well, speaking of trajectory, I can't say it. You know what I'm saying. What are your guys' thoughts on like AI music and lo-fi specifically? Have you looked into that? Have you heard anything about that?
Of course. Absolutely I have. I personally don't feel like it's going to have as big an effect as some people seem to think to, but that's only because of what I grew up listening to, what interested me in this culture in the first place, the things that I felt when I first listened to some of what people consider like the godfathers of lo-fi, like that Madlib, the Dilla, Nujabes, what I listen to now, like the Raz Frescos, the DiBiase's, the O'Rickies, the Impressions, the Illa J's. Like, it's not just music, it's not just beats, there's a feel to it that you can't duplicate using computers, at least not yet. You can't duplicate a Dilla rhythm just clicking buttons on FL Studio. You gotta take time. Like, you can get some swing going to it, but you gotta take the time to get it, or you play it in on your MIDI and you just have like that natural swing. Like my natural swing is completely different than Cal's. Like, if I play without a quantize, it's gonna be completely different than what Cal's is gonna sound like. It'll be completely different than what yours sounds like. And so, like, you can't duplicate that. Like, it just feels different. So I'm not worried about AI.
I'm not worried about music AI.
Oh, I am terrified about music AI. I think that will be detrimental to the music industry if there's not regulations put in place sooner than later. It's pretty crazy stuff. I did fool around with that Suno AI just a little bit. I was just curious. You know, I dabble in the AI arts. And I just did like a basic prompt. I'm like, give me like a Lunar Lounge, like chillin' cosmic. I was a little bit more descriptive track, and I was like, wow, that's actually like scary good. I feel like if I had put that song in a playlist of like 5 songs and the other 4 were made by human beings, you probably would not have been able to tell the difference. Mind you, this was more of like a more ambient, like piano kind of style lo-fi, like my kind of style lo-fi, like Lunar Lounge style, versus like your sound of lo-fi. I feel like AI would have a harder time replicating that, like the more lo-fi hip-hop. But I do see it getting more and more advanced as time goes on. I don't think it would impact like the lo-fi underground as much as it would like more mainstream genres of music, if that makes sense.
It does.
I totally plead ignorant to AI, though, to be quite honest. Like, I can't say I've ever looked into, like, AI music. You guys know I suck at AI imagery. And it's
just tell me what you want, and I'll give you your prompt. I've told a few people this.
I'm too intimidated by it. I'm in the paranoid train that's waiting for it to be smarter than us, so it kills us all.
Already is. Do you ever read up on there was a post online that said that AI will take over the world by using the Wi-Fi in our home connections. It said that it would first infiltrate like a Roomba and then get access to the Wi-Fi network with the Roomba and then spread throughout that. And it would use like household appliances, smart bulbs, things like that to maneuver through like your Wi-Fi network. And this all came from somebody prompting AI asking how it would take over the world.
Holy fuck.
That's pretty smart,
Right?
dude.
I'm not gonna sleep now.
That's like, it's already smarter than us. My concern is when AI becomes sentient and can pick up on emotion and can also give emotion as well.
That's why I'm saying there needs to be like huge regulations put in place now before it gets out of control, and it's just like not happening at all.
But like, look at how fast AI caught up when it was the new wave. Like, look how fast it moved within months, weeks even. It had made strides so much further forward than anything in recent memory. Like the way that it developed, and
they're integrating it into everything. Like it's in your,
it's on my Instagram.
I know. I was just about to say it's in like so many things you're using
it.
It
Reminds me of them putting fucking Meta on my Instagram and my Facebook Messenger. Reminds me of that time fucking Bono and U2 put their goddamn album on my iPhone without me asking.
Totally.
Like, fuck out of here.
Did you buy the red iPod?
Do you guys use Snapchat? Did you ever like fight with?
I use Snapchat.
Did you ever talk to the AI bot on there?
Never.
Oh, I have asked it to draw penises, and it will not.
I've tried bullying that thing.
Oh, how dare you?
I tell it to call me mommy.
Dummy mommy.
Kink unlocked.
AI.
Yeah, I'm into AI.
Somebody had posted one time, they had asked where to pirate movies, and AI had said, well, we can't give you that information because some of these are like illegal, blah 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 blah. And the person was like, what are the sites that I should stay away from? And it gave them a list of all the sites that you can torrent shit from. And I'm just like, see? Perfect. So, not so fucking smart yet, are you, AI?
That's so genius, dude. Well, if I can't go there, what site should I stay away from?
Bro, I got a picture that was generated using Midjourney of Gandhi and Snoop Dogg riding lowriders in Compton smoking a joint.
I adore that. I want that on my wall.
You see, where I worry about like AI like this, because you can generate anything, and like with music, like if you're an advertising company, why would you pay an artist for their song when you can just go, I need a bleep bleep bloop track, you know?
Shit, Drake just did it.
Did he?
Look, go find the tailor-made freestyle. It's got a verse from Tupac and Snoop Dogg on there, and then on the third verse, Drake hops on and he's dissing Kendrick Lamar. Like, that's wild to me. Like, you got an AI generated verse of Tupac dissing Kendrick Lamar. That's fucking crazy to me.
That is nuts.
Oh, the AI being able to like replicate human voices that already exist and like your image too. It's insane.
There was actually a company recently bought the Kiss discography, the same company that bought the Tupac one and did the Tupac hologram. So there should be a holographic Kiss show coming up eventually in our futures.
No thanks. Like, I don't like Kiss to begin with. I don't want to see a holographic Kiss.
How to tell I listen to a lot of radio in the truck at work.
Just filled with all the wonderful information that they give you during the morning segments.
Useless rock trivia.
Do you have any community radio stations there?
Yeah, but it's not my jam in the morning time. It doesn't have my hosts. For years and years, I've been listening to the same two hosts, and I refuse to break up with them.
That's totally fair.
So, you listening to CBC radio? You got the Rich Tur Fry?
Oh, I got the Wolf. Local radio around here.
We have the Wolf in Regina
to be
too.
Quite honest, they know me by phone number when I text them things. I chat a lot with them. I like them.
I love that for you. That's the best shit ever.
I'm a nerd. What can I say?
We're all nerds, man. We're all nerds here.
You had the questions.
Oh.
Said, Whitley, hit me.
Oh.
Whitley.
Hold on, let me get back on track.
Don't make me go all James Brown on you.
Yo, groundskeeper Whitley. I love it.
That is, I've never been called that before. I love that.
Will you make an AI version of yourself doing that?
Bro,
Will you make
Whitley. Oh my god. You're gonna, this is water cooler conversation for Whitley at work tomorrow. Guess what I got called last night on this podcast y'all don't fucking know about. Shameless
For my birthday present, I want a picture of groundskeeper Whitley.
Do it.
Sorry, I'm just going through my notes and trying to figure out how to reel this back in. Getting back on track with the label stuff. I guess, quick and short, what are the pros and cons of working with a label? And how would you determine for like a newer artist if it's the right move for them?
My opinion, new artists, absolutely good way to do it if you can get into like, a small to medium sized lo-fi label, because like you're gonna probably, lose some money that you weren't gonna make in the first place, and you're gonna potentially grab some new eyes of people you haven't heard of you. So in that case, absolutely win-win. If you're somebody that's generating, your 5-6K monthly listeners yourself without doing that, don't do it. Keep doing it yourself. You're doing an amazing job.
Any objections, Mr. Foot?
No, not really. Honestly, if you're at that point, it's as long as the split is fair. Don't go into it like just because you're a new artist doesn't mean that you should allow them to take advantage of you either. Like you're not gonna sign on to do a 90-10 split or an 80-20 split. Like, but some labels will try to do that. On the flip side of it too, even as somebody who's been doing this a long time, like there's nothing that Chill Space did for me with Snowfalls in Saskatchewan that I couldn't have done myself. Like, they didn't put out content for me. They didn't coach me through like ideas of how to manufacture content for this project. I did it all myself. So for me to be like, oh yeah, here, take 60% of this or 40% and I'll take 60, it's like, again, like I can just go keep 100% of this and release it myself next time and on my schedule. So there's ups and downs to it. If I was at the point and well known enough that like maybe fucking Stone's Throw was like, hey, we want to put your beat tape on vinyl, I'd be like, okay, cool, have 100% of it. I got a fucking project on Stone's Throw
on vinyl.
Like, obviously that wouldn't be the case. Like in no scenario would I be willing to give up 100% of my publishing or like my splits or my profits. But
you just wait, they're gonna listen to this and you're fucked.
Okay, this is probably like an ignorant question. I genuinely don't know. When you release a song through a label, are you like indefinitely like giving them the rights to that music, or can you like take that back, or is it like for a certain amount of time?
So there's different ways to go about it. There's a really good interview with MC Search of Third Base on the My Expert Opinion podcast where they kicked it off, and because MC Search is kind of like the one who did a lot of the back end stuff on Nas's debut album. So he made sure that samples were cleared, producers got paid, this and that, right? So that they asked, they're like, when are you going to give Nas back his masters? And within his contract, there was a clause that after 30 years, those reverted back to him. With the way that music is released now, there's different ways to go about it. When I released music with labels, I made sure that I kept the master recording, and they didn't even object to it. They were some of them were even very forthcoming with it and told me straight up, this is the split, you keep ownership of it, we just get this off of the Spotify stuff. So I'm like, okay, cool. Some of them will say, you're releasing this exclusively with us, you can't put it up on Bandcamp or on your own artist profile or here and here and here, like it's ours, but you still own the masters. So there's different ways that it's gone about. But when you release a beat with these labels, more often than not, you're keeping the masters. It's useless to them unless the song absolutely blows up and they look back and they're like, fuck, we should have got the master recording for that. You're releasing music for a bunch of kids that spend most of the time in their basements and don't know how to interact with people, so it's probably not gonna get networked to a much larger label in the first place. So more often than not, you just get to keep your masters.
Totally fair. Thanks for explaining that a little bit better to me, because I was, like I said, I'm not familiar with that side at all.
There are other ways as well where it say you place a beat with a major artist, okay, and then the label's like, Kate, we're giving you $20,000. That's your advance, right? But what a lot of artists don't understand is that $20,000 is like your advance. So like if you have a point on an album, okay, so 1 point, $1, album sells for $10, right? If you only sell X amount of copies of that money that comes off of those albums goes towards that advance. So if you only sell $10,000 worth, as far as like your points are concerned, you still owe the label technically $20,000 or $10,000, sorry, out of that $20,000. That's not, you don't owe them that money, but that money is yet to be recouped. So they're not cutting you another check until that money is paid back.
I had no idea.
That makes a lot of sense.
So if you're smart, you'll take a much smaller advance and more on the back end, right? Again, there's multiple ways of doing it, but that's just same thing with sample clearances. While we're on the topic, right? Your sample clearances more often than not are negotiated out of the producer's percentage of the publishing. So if Cal and I collaborate on a beat, he gets 25%, I get 25%. Artist that does vocals on top of it, he's the only one that wrote the song, recorded it, he gets 50%. If there's a sample that needs to be cleared, more often than not, unless it's agreed on with the artist, that negotiation is coming out of mine and Cal's percentage. That's how that side of it works, and there's way more to it than that, but that's like the straightforward, just shortened version.
It'd be something interesting to actually look into. I should probably do that.
I've done deep dives on it, and the information varies and changes from like person to person and situation to situation, but that's kind of the most basic one.
After hearing all that, it's like, man, I'll just be an independent artist. So much easier.
So now you have places like TrackLib, shouts out to TrackLib.
Oh, beauties.
Like you pay your $20 a month or whatever, and then you get like your sample clearance is included in that because they're making money in other ways. And so you still have to, depending on how much you use of the sample, you still have to pay a percentage to the artist when you register it with your like performance rights organization. So like SOCAN, ASCAP, BMO or BMI, things like that. So again, if I'm the only one on the song, I've got the sample that I got off TrackLib, I made the beat, it states in there that they need to get 35% in order for this sample to be considered cleared or like published, blah, blah, blah. Then when I register it with my PRO, I just put in there like, hey, this is me. This is who I sampled. I have the contract right here. It's generated through TrackLib. I'm taking my 65%. They get their 35% and it's done. That's it. And then as it's played on radio through your show, Whitley, you're familiar with SOCAN laws.
Yeah.
You say crookedfoot, sick day type beat. And then through that, like when it's submitted to SOCAN, boom, SOCAN gives me my 65%. They give the other artist that I sampled their 35%, and everybody's fucking happy because the sample was cleared and there's no reason for them to be upset.
Easy money in that aspect for them.
Sometimes, yeah. And I mean, but here's the thing, it's like you don't get paid jack shit from radio plays anyway. My SOCAN payout this month was $5, and it's the most that it's been in months.
Hey.
Like, don't spend it all in one place.
I saw both of you getting played on the junk drawer now too.
That's fire. But again, so like there's another one.
Thanks, buddy.
I'm not sure we have time for the discussion tonight unless you want to make this a 2-part episode, because I'm just curious, like, radio plays versus Spotify plays versus Apple Music plays versus whatever streaming platform you're using. Like, what's the payout, which is most benefit, like, where are you going to get the most bang for your buck, I guess?
Napster.
Absolutely, Napster. Which
But no, we'll save that one for another episode, honestly.
The great Spotify
really
debate. We'll come up with a better name. That was cheesy.
Still a good
DistroKid owes me
But
$20.
It's funny because I've had beats placed on television shows. I say beat, one beat. And it wasn't even a beat. It was a song that I produced, and it featured Classified and Pace One and Special K, and it got placed on the CTV show 18 to Life.
What?
And yeah, bro, it was a 30-second clip. And honestly, between that and then I had a video that I produced for an artist. It was on Much Music, and I thought, like, at that point, that was the beginning of it, man. I was like, yo, when I get these royalty checks, like, man, I'm gonna be able to quit my job, I'm gonna be able to do this. Like, it was good. And then I got my royalty check for that quarter, and it was like $11, and I was just like, nope, cool, all right. It was more than that. I think it was like 29. But yeah, it doesn't pay for
hopes
shit.
And dreams
Playing
shattered that day.
Getting placed on like hold music pays you significantly better than anything.
Oh,
I've always wondered, like, who are the artists for some of those songs?
Damn.
And like, do they get anything? That'd be cool.
Yes,
to me, that success is making it to be hold music.
Dude,
That
you
would
guys
be
want to
great.
you guys want to pitch an elevator music like collaboration and try and get into some elevators and stuff?
That'd be great.
That pays significantly better than Spotify does.
Well, let's go.
I feel like
And it's on term. Like, they license the music from you, so after like a couple years or 6 months, however long it happens to be, they have to either relicense it or go find music from somebody else.
That's so interesting. You're so full of knowledge.
Some days.
I'm paraphrasing here, but I've heard that, like, for a grocery store to play like a music in their store, they actually have to have a license to do that.
Yep.
Like a broadcasting license, and I thought that was crazy.
Yep. It is. Yep.
I did not know that either.
Yeah.
It's all done on the back end.
Damn.
Even if it is just some like serious satellite radio playlist, they still need a license in order to do that.
Technically, you are supposed to, because you were rebroadcasting something.
Ah, that makes sense.
Yeah. What are your guys' weekly recommendations this week?
I went first last time.
I'll go first. Fuck it. I'm honestly, Whitley, you said it last week, but I'm gonna double down on it. because
Bailey!
I checked it out. Yes, but more specifically, like, Guns 2 was such a flawless piece of work.
Right?
I listened to it probably 6 times by now. So doubling down as not just a co-host this time, but more as now a new fan of Bailey. Absolutely incredible project.
Okay, I'm gonna go next. I'm gonna build off of that because I feel like if you haven't heard of him yet, you definitely have to check him out. I'm going with Montreal-based Alpha Centauri. No crickets. Okay, he's been making me.
No, I was gonna say it sounds familiar, but I haven't checked it. I've probably seen the name pop up on my Instagram, maybe.
Okay, he's been making music for a long time. He's an older guy, but if you like those beats that are like pure, that just like bleed boom bap, like he's so right up your alley. Everything is so smooth. It's nostalgic vibes. It's got that like raw classic hip hop flavor. It's like he's bottling up those warm vinyl crackles and like laid back drum patterns into just like every track. You can just you can really like hear the passion and the craft in his work too. Like truly, it's just he's like a boom bap maestro. I don't want to say God.
Connoisseur.
Yeah, he's always keeping it real. It's always authentic. It's always super chill. He also has his own sample pack and drum kit platform called Boom Bap Labs. Some really good stuff on there too.
Okay, I know Boom Bap Labs. I know Boom Bap Labs.
Okay. He's so awesome. Like, I downloaded his Private Reserve Volume 2, and I actually like downloaded it, forgot about it, and I just re-listened to it recently, and I'm like, man, so good. I got to do a more thorough dive of him, but man, his music is like right up there with like Bailey. Like he's really good. Like I said, he's been making music for a long time.
Love it.
Definitely should be on your radar.
Love it. It will be now.
Now,
Cal?
I'm gonna just recommend a beauty that doesn't really do much to streaming platforms, the Tired Tanuki. He's just this dude that just does a lot of koala beats, posts a lot of reels on Instagram. I don't think you can find him on anything, but he's got one song on YouTube called Plum Wine, which is just a beauty, but like lots of like DJ stuff, lots of videos of himself just jamming around on some of his equipment. He's just honestly such a cool guy.
Just totally underground and
Yes.
independent, hey?
Yeah, oh, he's beauty.
That's my vibe. That's what I aim to be.
I'll have to check out this song. What was it called?
Plum Wine.
Plum Wine. Okay. Tired
Yeah,
Tanuki.
it's just him jamming out and playing it on one of his machines, or one of his MPKs, I think. Just a man, some pads in nature. Like, you really can't go wrong.
Well, good shit. Appreciate y'all for being here.
Yeah.
Likewise.
Appreciate y'all for tuning in.
This episode flew by. I feel like, wow, it's already been an hour almost.
It did. We could probably do a whole other like hour or two.
Oh, yeah, but instead I get to eat dinner.
Yeah, what you having?
I don't know. Probably just gonna go to town and see what I can find to the drive to.
Fire. I might do the same thing in a little bit here after scrims. But there you have it. Cal doesn't know what he's gonna eat. Whitley has been an absolute all-star today. I am the usual
Just a natural
mess I
beauty.
am. I try to be some days.
Until next time.
But we are
The low finer things.
Ta-ta.
Ta-ta.